Hey everyone, welcome back to another one of my videos. Thank you for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about a couple tips to help personalize your big day. Again, I'm not a wedding planner or anything like that. I am just a girl who recently got married back in 2024, and I'm just trying to help with a couple of things that I tried out, things that I've heard on the internet that may be able to help a couple of you guys out for wedding planning and for your engagement season. Wedding planning can be very hard. It can be a very stressful time and tense between you and your partner. This is a very important day, one of the biggest days that you're going to experience in your life, something that you've been maybe planning for years and years and years and saving up. You're trying to stay within a budget, but you're trying to make the day as unique as possible. And of course, you want everyone leaving your wedding with just awesome memories and things that they're going to remember for a lifetime. So again, just a couple things that we're going to be hitting on today is going to be on how to make your wedding day unique, how to make it feel more personalized. It can be easy to plan a wedding. You have the venue, you have the cake, you have the music, maybe a dance floor, maybe a bar service, but what makes it special to you? One of my favorite things that we did when planning our wedding was we knew we wanted our dog to be a part of it in some way. We knew we didn't really want to have her at the wedding just because her being 14 years old at the time, I knew she probably wouldn't have appreciated me bringing her there. However, we did find an artist on Etsy to make our cake topper. So this looks just like my little puppy, who's 15 now and she's doing great, but this looks just like her. So we have this sitting on our cake. I'll have to insert a photo for you here to see as well, but this was super special to me. Everyone who knows me knows that this is my dog. And yeah, we had this made on Etsy, sent him a couple different photos, and he was able to send me a sketch back, I think it was the same night, of how I wanted her positioned and what our plans were for the cake, and it was just incredible. This is super detailed, even in the eyes and the face. It's amazing, and it's something that I'll be able to keep forever. So that is one of my most favorite things that we did, just because it's so simple, but anyone who knows me knows that my dog is super important to me, and it was just special to have her there in spirit and on the cake. Okay, one of the next things that we did at our wedding was something that was more of a surprise element to the day. You've heard of something new, something borrowed, something blue, something old. I'm probably missing something in that. But for my something blue, I had one of my cousins who's a sister slash aunt slash mom to me wear blue to my wedding when everybody else was asked to wear black. So she kind of stood out. She was my something blue, and that was just kind of between us. It was she was part of the wedding party, but kind of not. She was a guest, but dressed in all blue, and it was just something between us that we got to share to show that she is so special to me, and I wanted her to be highlighted on my wedding day. So I'll insert a photo of that here for you to see as well, just because she looks so amazing, and that was something that people were oh, I didn't know you could do that. It's yes, you can do whatever you want on your wedding. So I had seen it done where somebody had their bridesmaids be their something blue, which I love that as well. But just my iteration of that in my something blue. And talking wedding traditions as far as something new, something blue, something old, all of that stuff. If you are needing permission to be untraditional, I want this to be your permission. I grant you the permission that you feel like you need to be untraditional. This day is about you and your partner. If that means you don't want to walk down the aisle with somebody, or you don't want to be given away, maybe you don't want to do a bouquet toss, maybe you don't want to do a garter toss, maybe you don't want to do a cake cutting. It's really up to you. Any of those things that you see, this is a checklist of what a wedding should look like. If you don't want to do those things because they feel weird or doesn't feel like you don't have to do them. There's no rules for how you have your wedding day. I, for one, didn't have anybody walk me down the aisle. I didn't do a garter toss just because being to weddings in the past, I felt like they're a little bit uncomfortable, and I just felt like me and my husband wouldn't really like to do one, so we didn't. And same for the bouquet toss, because I had my flowers pressed and preserved. I did not toss them into the crowd because I wanted to preserve them the way that they were. So you don't need any special rules. You don't have to do anything exactly the way that anybody else has done them in the past. You can be as different as you want to be. And in the same realm of being traditional and rules, checklists, and things for how weddings typically are, here's another idea of things that I've just seen on the internet, is bridesmaids. I am lucky enough to have had the same 3 friends my entire life since I was about the age of 6. So of course I had my maid of honor and my 2 bridesmaids. They knew that ever since I was probably 13, that those were gonna be their roles that day. And I am eternally blessed to have had the same girls by my side since childhood. We've grown up together and there's nobody else I would have had next to me on my special day. But I know people as well who have huge families, or they didn't grow up close to anybody, or they've moved around their entire lives. So they're just kind of picking and choosing who's going to be that role on their big day. You don't have to have bridesmaids. That is totally up to you. You can always have a friend. You could do a maid of honor and just that be it. You don't need it, is what I'm trying to say. It is completely up to you what you decide to do. And on the other hand, I also have a friend who's getting married this next year in 2027 who's going to do 2 maid of honors. So that's something I had never heard of. But I think she's doing a maid of honor and a matron of honor, which I think the difference between the two is if you're married or not, or maybe it's an age thing. I don't know. Maybe it's like a señora versus like señorita version of that, but I'm not sure. You'll have to let me know. But again, it doesn't have to look the same as somebody else's wedding. It doesn't have to be just a checklist or a template and you're just fitting your family and your situation into the same box. You get to do whatever you want to do. Okay, back to personalization. What's going to make your day more unique, more feeling like you? This is going to come down to bar service and how you're going to be serving alcohol, if you're going to be serving alcohol on your day. So this is going to be mobile bar services or customized drinks. And yes, sometimes these two do go together. You can probably find a bartender who would be cool with doing just like a couple different personalized drinks for, your rehearsal dinner or your wedding, birthday party, whatever. But what I'm talking about is like those super cute, like they're like trailer vans or trailers that they're redoing and making into a mobile bar that they like pull behind their truck. They're so cute. And again, these can be parked at your ceremony. They can be parked outside of a reception hall, rehearsal dinner, whatever you want it to be. In this way, you're doing like a couple of customized, usually mixed drinks that are like, this one's about the bride, this one's about the groom. Those are the cocktails for the event. So that helps a lot as far as you're not just doing like an open bar, because that can get super pricey. As far as cost for a mobile bar, I'm not sure what that looks like. But again, just a different idea of like making things feel more personal. This can also come into signs, like we had talked about in the last budgeting video, making your own signs on something like Zazzle or Etsy or Canva and printing them out yourselves, making those signs about you guys or about your love story, where you guys met, and about those drinks and what they mean to you and what they mean to your special day, I think is super important. Helps your audience and your family and your new family kind of get to know you on a deeper level. This can be something that is funny or sweet or whatever you want it to be. And I think it can just be a little touch of personalization that goes a really long way. Okay. Next thing is going to be more of a ceremony-based thing that we ended up doing. This is called ring warming, or ring thoughts and prayers, as I like to call it, where we actually had somebody in our audience holding our rings before the start of the ceremony. And then it was time for the rings to be brought to the front for the, putting the rings on. They were able to pass the rings through like the first row, which was all our family members, and just kind of hold on to them. I had told my family, like, you say like a quick prayer over them and just, you hold them close to your heart and then you pass them on. And then I think it was my husband's mom who ended up bringing them up to our best man. And then, the rest of the ceremony continues. But just a little, a special thing to me that's not so just passing the rings up. We didn't have any kids at our wedding, so I didn't have like a ring bearer or flower girl to do the ring part of it for us. So just something else that I had seen online that I ended up borrowing. Okay, one more that you're going to be like, duh, I've already seen that before, is the first look, because you're going to decide if you want to do it at the aisle or you're going to want to do it beforehand, just between the two of you. So kind of a mix of a couple things here. What we ended up doing on our day that morning afternoon. What we ended up doing was we did our first look outside with our photographer, but I wouldn't have recommended doing it the way we did because it was kind of like in the parking area and people showed up so early to our wedding that they actually ended up seeing me too. But again, did our first look together with our photographer, got some really lovely photos, and then we also like tucked away together before the ceremony and read our vows together privately before being outside and in front of everybody else. So then that way we actually like got to feel them and cry about them without being like scared. It was scary being up there with all those people looking at us. Because it's a lot in one moment. So getting to share that moment beforehand was really special to me. Alrighty, my friends. One last thing, if you're still here, that I'm really recommending if you are in your bridal era or your engagement era of wedding planning. This is going to be, look up a bridal expo in your state. Really try to go to a bridal expo before you get married. Wedding expos can be awesome because you're able to find local vendors in your area. You're able to snag special discounts as well. They'll actually sometimes just do a discount if they saw you that day, have you sign up for like their email list or whatever. And then if you're able to book with them like in a certain amount of time, you get so much money off. I just think it's a great idea to get out there, meet these vendors for the first time, see if you guys click or have a connection. So that way you're getting to meet many of them on the same day. It is so helpful. And you know kind of what you're looking for, kind of what you're not. There was like mini bars there that were serving drinks. That's how we met our day of coordinator. We met photographers that day and we got a really great discount like on those marquee letters. I'll have to see if I have a photo of them. But the marquee letters that say like love or your last name or whatever you want them to say, they cost like per letter if you want to get those done. So see what they have available, see what discounts you can get and what email lists you can get on. That way, if they have anything special, you're not missing out. Alrighty, friends, if you're still here, I just want to say thank you so much. If you've enjoyed this video, please give me a like and possibly subscribe. If you have any questions or comments or tips for anybody who's planning their wedding, please leave them down below in the comments section, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!
Every night, I we paradise.